Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Mr. Young. I hope you enjoyed a great long weekend. I know I did. Spent some time with some family and friends and got to have a little relaxation time away from school, so that's always good. I wanted to take a little time and share with you a story that our very own Mr. Hayes had shared with me. And anybody that knows Mr. Hayes knows that he is a intense sports fan. And so, fittingly enough, this is a story about baseball. So I want to share with you this story called Zachary's Ball. All right, and it's by Mr. Matt Taveras. And this book was lent to me by Mr. Hayes. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I have. Here we go. I had never been inside a ballpark until that day. Everything felt so close to me. The outfield fence, the players warming up, even the man who watered the field. I was so jealous of him because he got to walk on the same grass as Buck Spoonwell and all the other heroes my father talked about so often. How many people here have ever been to a baseball game, a professional baseball game, the Red Sox? It's a great feeling. It's an awesome, awesome feeling. Pretty soon we're going to get the Woo Sox. I remembered everybody clapping and hollering when Boston came up to bat. Hundreds of people in the bleachers chanted in unison, "Let's go Sox! Let's go Sox!" Buck Spoonwell was up first. "Hit a home run, Buck!" my father shouted. "Let's go, Buck!" I yelled as loud as I could. On the first pitch, Buck took a mighty swing, but he did not hit a home run. Instead, he popped the ball straight up into the sky. The crowd groaned. But then, suddenly, the wind picked up and carried the ball right towards us. Oh, wow. It's so exciting. Let's see what happens. My father stood up. So did all the other grown ups. I stood up too, even though I was too little to reach the ball. Once all the jumping and yelling stopped, my father sat down, and with a big smile, he held in front of me a beautiful white baseball. As he handed me the ball, something unbelievable happened. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? Let's find out. All of a sudden, I was no longer sitting with my father. I was standing on the pitcher's mound, dressed in a Red Sox uniform. "One more strike and we win it, kid," said Skip Johnson, the manager, as he handed me the ball and returned to the dugout. Oh, wow. He's got a huge look of surprise on his face, huh? I looked at the catcher, crouched down behind the plate, waiting for my pitch. He gave me some sort of sign, but I didn't know what it meant. So I just reached back and threw the ball as hard as I could. The hitter swung as hard as he could, but the ball whizzed past him. "Strike three! The Red Sox win!" Oh, wow. The catcher ran out to the mound to give me the game ball. As he handed it to me, suddenly I was back in the stands with my father. It seemed as though no time had passed. "Dad!" I exclaimed. "This baseball's magic!" My father smiled. "They're all magic," he said. See his face? I wrote my name on the baseball as soon as I got home that day. That night, I took my ball to bed with me, and each night from then on, I dreamed about baseball. One night, I was standing in left field at Fenway Park when New York's best hitter blasted a deep fly ball right toward me. I ran as fast as I could and dove for it, feeling the smack of the ball in my glove as I skidded across the outfield grass. Another night, I struck out the final batter in the seventh game of the World Series. My teammates all ran out to the mound and held me above their shoulders while thousands of Red Sox fans stormed the field. Look at that. They're carrying him off the field. Then, one day, my baseball was gone. I looked in the drawer in my desk where I usually kept it. I looked all over my room. For weeks, I looked everywhere, but it was nowhere to be found. A few months passed, and finally I gave up. I wonder what happened to it. Has anybody here ever had something they really loved and cherished and just couldn't find it anymore? Yeah, that's happened to me too. I still dream of baseball though, and every summer I spent my Saturday afternoons at the ballpark rooting for Boston. Always hoping that another ball might come my way. Years later, I was taking a walk in Boston down by the ballpark. The heat was unbearable, so I stopped to rest in a tiny spot of shade. I gazed up at the big wall in front of me. I heard the sound of cheering fans from inside the park. Hmm. Just then, out of the sky came a glowing white baseball. A towering home run hit over the wall. I reached up and it fell gracefully into my outstretched hands. As I spun the dusty ball around, I thought I saw two faded words written in a child's handwriting. Zachary's ball. Quickly, I tried to brush the dust away so I could read it more clearly. But as the dust vanished into the air, so did the words. Do you think that could have been his ball? Magically reappearing? Holding my new baseball, I thought back to the day when my father took me to his first game. I remembered the gift he had given me. Now, I had caught a baseball myself. I couldn't wait to tell him. As I turned to head home, I noticed a young girl holding her father's hand. She was staring at my baseball. See her? I placed the ball in her hands. A moment later, she exclaimed, "This baseball's magic!" "I know," I answered. "They're all magic." That's the end of Matt Tavere's Zachary's Ball. So I like that story a lot because, first of all, I love baseball, but second of all, I loved going to games when I was younger, whether it was at the Red Sox or if it was at Holy Cross or another school around. But I always loved going to see games with my parents and my dad. This is a cool story because to me it has an element of passing good things along to other people. And so at the end, when Zachary catches the ball and he wants to race home and tell his dad that he finally caught his own ball, he sees someone else, a younger girl, that he wants to pass the ball to, and she then gets the magic passed on to her. So I think that's great, and a great theme and great moral to the story is kind of passing the goodness along to others so others can experience the magic themselves. So if you ever get a chance to pass the magic along to somebody else, do so, because that will make you feel amazing and it'll make you feel good. So I hope you enjoyed the story as much as I had. And again, thank you, Mr. Hayes, for sharing it with us. And guys and girls, I hope to see you all again online soon. We miss you and we're all thinking about you. All right, take care.